side by side or something?
I've been hearing about consistently 9 inches.
Yeah.
Somebody went through over at Battle Point there, a crack opened up, and I don't know what the heck he was doing. I don't know how he couldn't have seen that.
Right.
Ready? Okay. Okay, good morning. I will call the Todd County Board of Commissioners meeting to order on Tuesday the 29th. Welcome to the public that's viewing us online. And attending remotely will be the news media. Attending in person will be Lauren Feldbaum, Public Works, Steve Ock, Sheriff, Adam Ossifert, Planning and Zoning, Chris McCon, Solid Waste, Jackie Ock, Health and Human Services, Chuck Rasmussen, County Attorney, Linda Dowse, County Recorder, Denise Gaida, Auditor Treasurer, Chris Pelzer, County Coordinator. All commissioners are present, along with the County Coordinator and Denise Gaida, our Auditor Treasurer. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, is there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I have 2 changes to the agenda. I would like to ask to remove under administration 12.8, changes to group health insurance contributions. And I would like to add discussion on Minnesota Merit System with Jackie Ock presenting that. And if we could add that between solid waste and administration.
Okay, is there anything else? If not, is there a motion to approve the corrected and amended agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Newman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Consent items.
Today I have the meeting minute approval for December 15th, 2020, and 3.2 malt liquor license for Don and Dave's store.
Okay, you've heard the consent items. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Erickson. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Auditor Treasurer.
To approve the commissioner warrants, background is sent for your review. Recommendation is to approve the commissioner warrants with an ACH and a regular manual payment totaling in the amount of $309,793.40.
Okay, you've heard the board action. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Newman. Is there a second?
Knizel.
I'm sorry. What?
Knizel.
You guys, this shield must be bad here or something. Or my left ear.
Yours. Hey, I'll second it.
Yeah, all right. Second by Newman. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Kneisel?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Erickson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kneisel? I mean, Commissioner Kircher.
Yes. Okay. You guys are gonna have to pull your mic a little closer, so, same way with you, Chris.
Here.
It's a little- yep.
Okay. Thank you.
The next
Right.
item I have is the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants. Background is sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants with an ACH and a regular manual payment totaling the amount of $59,879.15.
Okay, you've heard the board action. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Erickson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Erickson?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kneisel?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Kircher?
Yes.
Next item I have is the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants. Background was sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants with an ACH and a regular manual payment totaling in the amount of $70,465.54.
Okay, you've heard the board action. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Newman.
Knizel seconds.
Okay, Kneisel seconds. Discussion? Not roll call, please.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Kneisel?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Erickson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kircher?
Yes.
Thank you. The next item is the CARES Act transfer of funds board action. And there's a lengthy background, but what it is we're all familiar with that Todd County received the CARES Act funding money, and we're now trying to realign the funds to pay out the specific departments for their hours of service. So we're just realigning that money, and what we're doing is providing the money to those departments for their hours worked. So we're approving the attached resolution to transfer funds for the CARES Act CRF funds. It's a financial implication of $573,852.46, which was the Fund 19 CARES Act money.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Erickson. Is there a second?
Knizel second.
Second by Knizel. Is there any discussion? If not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next item I have then is to transfer funds 2020 Todd County Expo Building Renovation Project. Todd County Board of Commissioners approved this project at the Todd County Fairgrounds for the Expo Building, and the funding plan via board action was done, and the transfer of the project of the funds were done to Fund 37, which is our building construction fund. And as projected, the amount of $708,454 via that board action that's listed. The expenses have been finalized for the 2020 Todd County Expo Building Renovation Project, and the amount of funds expensed equaled $799,689.58. The difference of the $91,235.58 is requested to be provided by Fund 1, the General Revenue Fund, the Building Improvement Fund, to complete this project. Funding is needed to zero out the books and balance them. So our recommendation is to approve the attached resolution or do not. Our recommendation is to approve the attached resolution of the transfer of funds in the amount of $91,235.58 from Fund 1, the General Revenue Fund, to Building Fund 37 for the construction of the 2020 Todd County Expo Building Renovation Project. And it was a budgeted item.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I
Yes.
could ask,
Yeah.
Denise, this has just got to do with the remodeling of the
Yes.
Expo building?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is just the first initial one we did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Erickson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried.
My last item then today is the committed fund balance for fiscal year ending 2020 for the retiree severance. This is beginning in the fiscal year 2020. The Finance Committee recommended taking a proactive budget approach for future retirement expenses within Fund 01, our general fund. There were no significant financial impacts due to retirement within Fund 1 during fiscal year 2020. Therefore, the Finance Committee recommends that the County Board establish a committed fund balance account for future retirements within this fund balance. The balance of $50,000 for the fiscal year ending 2020. This fund balance will be reevaluated on an annual basis for transparent financial reporting. Our recommendations are to approve the attached resolution to a committed fund balance for future retirees severance fund. It was a budgeted item at $50,000, and we just want to commit this fund, so moving forward, when we do have retirees, we're being proactive and not having to come up with the money to pay out their severance packages.
And don't the audit requirements that we do this? The audit, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct, too.
Yep. Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So the department heads will no longer have to project this
Right. We worked. with
liability.
each- Right. In, only those in Fund 1.
Right.
Now, the big fund departments, like you'll see the next board action in
It's coming.
Public Works,
Okay.
has his own.
Okay.
This just happens to be Fund 1, which would be the courthouse and the,
HHS, all them. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Any more discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Good morning. Morning.
The one item on the agenda this morning for Public Works is a request to transfer a budgeted rollover expense in 2020 to 2021. The background is we had in the budget a sick time severance for an individual that we anticipated retiring this year. But due to his decision, he's probably going to go next year. So with that, I attached the budget request form, transferring that money over from fiscal year 2020 to fiscal year 2021. And our options are to approve the attached budget request form or do not approve the attached budget request form. And our recommendation is this time is to approve the attached budget request form, transferring $30,800 over to fiscal year 2021.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
Knizel, approve.
Motion by Commissioner Kenizel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Erickson. Discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
All right, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the reappointment of the County Extension Committee, and I will be reading this on behalf of Suzanne. Historically, Todd County Board has appointed committee members to the Todd County Extension Committee, allowing them a 3-year renewable term. Authorization for the county board to make these appointments is stated in Minnesota Statute 38.36 that is attached. This committee advises U of M Extension staff and personnel on county needs and needed educational resources for county residents. The at-large and District 2 seats are up for renewal on the Extension Committee currently. Amy Allen serves in an at-large seat, and Kevin Innes serves as the District 2 seat. Both are willing to renew their term running January 1, 2021 through December 31st, 2023. Respectively submitted by Suzanne Henrich, Regional Director of the U of M, and her recommendation is to appoint Amy Allen, the member at large, and Kevin Innes, District 2, to the Extension Committee for a term of January 1, 2021 through December 31st, 2023.
Okay, you've heard the board action. Is there a motion?
Knizel moves it.
Motion by Commissioner Kenizel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Looks like I'm up. All right. Good morning, all.
Morning.
All right. The one topic I have today is the updated contract with CentraCare Clinic for our jail nursing. Background, Sheriff Steve Ock would like to update the contract with CentraCare Clinic. The contract will provide the jail with a number of services, including medical director, nursing services, and mental health services. The updated contract will start 1/1/21. The cost of the one-year contract is $131,800. The updated contract was discussed at the December 15th work session. Options, of course, are to approve the contract with CentraCare or to not to approve the contract with CentraCare. Recommendation is that we approve the contract with CentraCare, and it is a budgeted item.
All right, you've heard the board action. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kenizel. Discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
MIS?
Mr. Chair, I have a board action this morning and a budget request this morning to roll $7,000 from our computer equipment maintenance budget of MIS to the 2021 budget. The reason for this request was due to the unforeseen workload created by COVID. We were unable to complete the project of moving to hosted services for our I-Series, so I would like to move that $7,000 from the current MIS budget to the 2021 budget.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Erickson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion?
Yes, I do. Denise, how does that work when we keep rolling it over as far as budget-wise? You know, because we've got everything set, all the budgets are set. That was within the budget, or are we
This is
changing the
within
budget?
her budget, and she's rolling it over because it was an expense that they didn't get to expense out. This board action says retiree severance, that's
That's what I was
incorrect.
gonna ask.
Yeah.
That's
I
incorrect.
apologize,
It's
that was my
just
mistake.
it's an item that she was not able to get or complete.
Yeah.
And so being short, you don't want to be short next year, so you can take that money that you didn't use and expend it and do this rollover now. If you don't, then it does get absorbed into the
Into the general fund, and then
And she
that's
would
where,
have to come up with the money in the next year, so.
okay,
It's just wise budgeting, being proactive.
okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Chris, or who is coming in?
Adam.
I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong one. Saw Chris walk in.
Morning.
Got a list here.
All right. The first item is the rezoning of parcel 0600456600. If you remember back to last board meeting, this was the tabled item. There's a request to rezone this parcel from AF1 to AF2. I sent out in an email the staff report that I developed as part of the planning commission meeting to kind of provide some additional information of how the zoning districts relate to one another. And again, this was tabled just for that additional information. But the recommendation at the previous board meeting was to deny the rezoning of this parcel from AF1 to AF2 based on the creation of spot zoning.
So it's coming back to us as the same request.
Same, no information, or same request, because that was what the recommendation of the planning commission was.
Chair, I'd like discussion, please.
Yep.
On the AF1, AF2 zoning and the spot zoning type application, and I don't know, did you ever find wording in regards to that? You said it was kind of a gray area. I mean, the way we had referenced it before, looked at spot zoning, was that if there wasn't an attached property of the same zoning, it's considered spot zoning.
Correct. And it made comment, it wasn't in our ordinance, but just looking at a general definition of spot zoning, it made reference to if the request of the change in zoning is just strictly for the intentions of the current landowner, that it would create a spot zone also, that it doesn't correlate with the intentions of the ordinance itself.
So in this particular case, or whatever the situation may be, and when we're dealing with landowners, and I try to be very proactive with landowners and see it from the side of a landowner wanting to do things with their properties. With AF1, you can have people build on four corners and be right across the road from each other, four people, all in the same corner. These people are asking to build on the back side of a 40, which is not gonna be next to anyone back there.
Correct.
It's further away than what it could be in AF1. It makes absolutely no difference to anybody else. There's been no objections from any.
We have not received any public correspondence in relation to this.
I think that's the idea behind taking each one of these applications and reviewing them to make those kind of decisions. And from my standpoint, I see this as absolutely no problem with anybody and would make a motion to grant the rezoning.
All right, we have a motion to grant the rezoning. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Kneisel. Is there any more discussion?
Yes, Adam, when you had your planning meeting, they were opposed to this because of the second house on the 40?
They were
or-
opposed to it strictly on the creation of spot zoning. Our comprehensive plan makes some reference to discouraging spot zoning within the county. And part of their determining factors, looking at the comp plan and does it align with it or not. And because of that statement and our ordinance discourages it also, that was how they arrived at this decision.
And they did it twice? Did it come back in front of them after we sent it back?
No, not this one. This one only went before once.
No, we didn't send it back.
No.
We just put it on table.
Just
So
to
you
re-
have more information. is all
Correct,
it was.
yep.
Yes. But the original time that it came through, the people that went out and did the site thing came
Yeah.
through with a recommendation to grant
Yeah,
the application.
just his comment was that this really probably won't have any sort of negative impact to anybody. He sees no major issue with it. And then they went through the process and staff report. And in my staff report, if you read the bottom part, it made a recommendation of two different things, that you could deny it based on the creation of spot zoning, or you could grant it. And then with that, I made no recommendation of conditions to this because it really had no negative impact. So I think based on your motion, I would not suggest any conditions be attached to it also.
I guess my question is, should it be going through planning and zoning before we vote against planning and zoning? Are with our recommendation?
We had that conversation also.
Yep.
And I went down
Okay.
and spent a lengthy conversation
Yep.
with Adam on this. And there, if you want to explain the other route, you said there was actually another route that would cost the
Yeah.
homeowner more money.
Yep, so there are alternatives of what we call an acreage cluster, where you can take building rights from a neighboring 40 and go through that. So there are alternatives to make this happen, but it takes a little more effort, and you have to have a willing neighbor that's willing to give up building rights. There's some other processes to that. If this was sent back to the planning commission, my suspicion would be that this would come back before you guys with the same recommendation.
I also want to add, it was a split vote. And the
Yep,
ones
3-2.
The ones that actually went out and viewed it were the ones that voted against. Not.
Yeah, they were in favor of it essentially. Yep.
Okay,
Well, I would assume the motion from the planning commission was to vote no, and you had a 3-2 vote, right?
Yep.
So,
Right.
right. Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? I think because we are doing this, I'm gonna ask for a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Erickson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kneisel?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
No.
Commissioner Becker?
I've got a real hard time with this going against the planning board. At the same token, I'm gonna go yes.
And Commissioner Kircher?
Yes. Okay, now we got a number of violations we wanna go through, and
Yep.
do we have to do these all individually? I'm assuming, huh?
Well, some of them will be quick because we're
Okay.
probably not gonna change anything,
Okay,
so we can probably move fairly fast. I gotta make sure I got the right stuff here. Okay. All right, the first one, Marianne Gerving, this was again brought back to you guys on December 15th at the work session, just to provide an update. Back in October, you guys made a motion to place the $1,000 assessment. Since then, there's been no change, no contact, no anything. My recommendation would be that we take no action and leave the assessment on the property.
okay, is there a motion?
We don't need one or don't.
Last time, we just had a quick discussion and moved on.
Yep,
You'll have, this is a board action, so you'll have to have a motion in a second.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
sorry. It just said,
I don't know if we had to go through them
Yeah.
all separately.
let's just take
I
no
thought
action,
last year we
so
just had a discussion and
Because
then
I
if,
think you had them all in one lump last year.
oh,
But this is
remember.
a true board action, so, and you're actually certifying a special assessment to me off of this, so.
Correct.
I
So
would,
we have
Yeah.
to do them individually then?
yes.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Township? What township is this in?
this one is,
Ballard. It says 25 up
yep, 25. I don't know what 25 was.
25 is Villard Township,
Oh, okay.
It's in the old town of whatever that little.
Delbert.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, do I have a motion then?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Becker, is there a second?
second.
Second by Commissioner Erickson, any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. I'm gonna go through these rather fast, so you.
Okay. This one, had an assessment placed on it in October. An update was provided back on the 15th. Conversations with the landowner with the update were that the tank was filled in, but it was not properly abandoned. We never received the appropriate paperwork. They never worked with the contractor. We made them aware, and since then, we have not had, any contact with them and no other paperwork submitted. This is actually one that should have been assessed last year and didn't get assessed. So they're kind of getting a break in that sense. So my recommendation would be that we take no action and leave the assessment in place.
Okay, you've heard the board action, is there a motion?
What township, Adam?
This Fawn Lake.
Okay.
All right.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Becker, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kneisel. Discussion? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Okay, Harold G. Harcum, an update was provided on the 15th. There's been no contact, no improvements. Same on this one, that I make a recommendation that we take no action and leave the assessment in place.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
I believe this is my area again. I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Erickson. Discussion? If not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried.
All right, Jeffrey and Christine Coolman, an update was provided on the 15th. Again, the fence was installed this year, but there's been no other improvements. The fence really only blocks your view from the Highway 71, and we've had really very limited contact with the office. This is a long-standing violation that we receive multiple complaints on every single year. So my recommendation at this time would take no action and leave the assessment in place.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kenizel. Discussion?
Yep, Round Prairie Township.
Yep. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, carried.
Okay, August Langseth, there's been no contact with our office, no improvements. The assessment was, made a motion to place in October, and my recommendation would to keep that in place, so take no action.
All right, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. I believe it's Moran Township.
19, yes.
19, yeah.
Motion by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Erickson. Excuse me, discussion? Not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
This is on Georgianne and David Larson. This is a long-standing one. There's not been any effort to clean up the property. We've had a few contacts with them. The landowner has had health issues and has not agreed to conducting a site visit. I wasn't really sure what direction to go on this one. We did place the assessment back in October, so my recommendation at the current time would be to leave the assessment in place, so take no action today. I don't know, Commissioner Erickson, if you had any further comments on this particular one. Okay.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Erickson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kenizel. Discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Okay, this is on the Jack McCoy property. This is in Pillsbury.
Bruce Township.
Yeah.
Burnhamville, one or the other.
Burnhamville, yeah.
Burnhamville. It's right on the line.
So there has been some improvements. We've had a little bit of contact with them. I haven't been able to get in touch with them very recently. The main thing is that there's an old house there that's kind of decrepit, probably past repair. So we'd like to have some conversations with them, but I guess based on the improvements that were made, I'd make a recommendation to remove the $1,000 assessment from this particular property.
He moved that house in there a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. And then never actually put it down on a foundation or anything.
Did anything but make a
Yep.
mess. Yeah. All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Erickson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Newman. Discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, carried.
All right, Gerald and Patricia Nelson, the update on the 15th was that they have submitted a design, they submitted a loan application, they've paid all the associated fees with both the program and the permitting. The septic just needs to be installed, so I would make a recommendation that the $1,000 assessment be removed from this property.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So move,
Motion
Gordon.
by Commissioner Newman.
Yep.
Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kenizel. Discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Okay, this is William and Marsha Owen. The update was that we had a phone call from them that they made an effort to clean up the property, and on the site visit, we found that there's basically been no changes and it maybe got worse. So with that, we haven't had any contact with them since then. My recommendation would be we take no action and leave the assessment in place.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion? Your district, I think, Barb, isn't it?
Staples Township.
Yep.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Erickson. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, carried.
Okay, this is Wayne and Belinda Prather. We've had a lot of conversations with this family, and they've made a good effort to clean up the property. There's a few items that still need to be addressed, but we've got a plan in place to finish the cleanup and get this fully resolved. So my recommendation would be that we make a motion to remove the $1,000 assessment on this property.
All right, you heard the request. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Becker, second by Commissioner Newman.
Yep.
More discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Okay, Tim Forseer's second year violation. There's been no noticeable progress on this one over the course of the year. Again, this was assessed last year. The board action should say a $2,000 assessment, so I apologize for that, because it is in the second year. The only contact we've had with Tim this year is that he emailed me back in June or July claiming to sue me for my inaction of dealing with him. That's been about it. So my recommendation would be that we take no action and leave the $2,000 assessment in place on this property.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
What township is
This
it?
is,
Leslie.
yeah,
Leslie.
north
Or
side of
Gordon,
Osakis.
yeah.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kneisel. Discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Right, I got a mistake here. This should be a $2,000, but on this one, there's been a significant cleanup effort. We've gone out and made a couple site visits and documented that. They continue to do the cleanup, so my recommendation that we remove the $2,000 assessment from this property.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Erickson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion. You'll make them corrections on the,
Yes,
Do I need to
board
resend you them?
actions then?
you have to resend them.
Okay, I'll send them up.
All right.
That's easy.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Do I send those to you or to Jolene?
Jolene.
Okay. And the last one, I'll get corrected also. This is a second year violation. Still a mess out there. There's no progress, and we've had no contact at all with James this year. So my recommendation is that we take no action, and this would be a $2,000 assessment on this property.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
Damn it.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Kneisel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Erickson. Discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you. All right.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I'll get those sent up right away.
Thanks.
Morning, Chris.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
So we have before you a board action form for your consideration for approval of the solid waste budget. We attached on the next page just a summary of the budget. In general, there isn't a lot of change. I think we tried to track a little more accurately what we think the revenue generated at the transfer station is, and then we did pass through the change of cost for the rate increase at Prairie Lakes. And then, as you may recall, when we did the countywide fee schedule adjustment public hearing, we did increase the parcel fee a little bit. I think specifically for commercial, but also residential. And with those changes, this is basically the same budget that we had drafted in June. The only difference is the parcel fee generated some more revenue. So the balance as shown in the budget is about a $45,000 more revenue than expense. Sometimes that's a negative, but it's a,
In the black.
yes, sir.
All right, any questions on the budget? Is there a motion, pardon, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Kneisel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Newman. Discussion? Not, all's in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, carried. Okay, Chris, thank you.
Commissioners.
Jackie out there? Okay.
I brought Sarah to WIF, she's gonna help me through this. All right, good morning. We've got an added BAF in regarding merit.
Not that one.
I don't have it.
We don't have anything, Denise, it was just, that, no, I'm sorry that we didn't come. We were notified, I'm on the merit committee. Minnesota Merit is an HR system through DHS that hires employees to assure that we have adequate assurances to meet HR functions. Todd County, I wish I had the date how long we've been a Minnesota Merit County, but it's been way before my time in coming. At one point, there was, out of 87 counties, there were 64 counties that were a part of Minnesota Merit. We were just notified on Christmas Eve at like 4:30 in the evening, I think the email came in from the director that another 10 or 11 counties have opted to get out of Minnesota Merit. And many counties now are getting out because they have an adequate HR department that is able to provide those HR functions that we hadn't had that ability to do at one time. So there are a number of components that are required through the state on the human services side that we must meet. So in notification on Christmas Eve that there was another 10 or 11 counties exiting Minnesota Merit, it's a system that has served us well, but people are getting out, counties are getting out of it. And there is a cost to being a member of Minnesota Merit. I believe in 2020, the cost was around $9,000. 2021, we're anticipating the cost to increase because counties are exiting. We are with the additional 10 or 11 counties that are requesting to leave. It's similar to South Country Health Alliance. You have to submit your notification to withdraw and then you wait a year. There are another, like I said, handful of counties that are leaving, and we're anticipating a significant increase with those 10 or 11 counties. Upon notification, I got the email Monday morning. I called Sarah and I called Jenna, and it's something that I've been considering evaluating whether we're at the point of can we withdraw and yet provide the essential services and the HR functions here at the county, because we've got a good department up here and well-staffed and runs very smoothly. So I contacted Sarah and I contacted Jenna and said, are we at the point that we feel that we can withdraw and meet all those components that are required in the state of Minnesota on the human services side? And I'll let Sarah speak to her answer, but Jenna felt that yes, we are. But again, Sarah, I'll let you take over from here.
Yeah, the majority of the services that Merit provides for the county are things that we are also doing here. So we just have to prove to Merit in the next year that we're doing those things here. And I read through the list, and some of them are gonna take a little research, but the majority of them, we have a very clear path of, yes, we're already doing this, and here's how we're gonna prove it to you, so.
One of the benefits of Merit is we get lists of individuals that are interested in positions when they come open. Many of our neighboring counties within our region no longer are opting to get out of or withdraw from Merit, so it's not going to be as advantageous for us to be a Minnesota Merit County as it once had been, to be able to see those individuals interested in our region for job openings. Why I'm coming so quickly to you in front of the board, we have a withdraw deadline of the 30th or 31st? 31st. If we don't submit an intent to withdraw, being a formal letter from you all, or from our board chair, or possibly from Chris or I, whoever we choose to sign that, we would have to wait a year to request to withdraw, and then you have that waiting period again of a year. So if we don't submit that by the end of this week, we would have to wait 2 years to get out. So that, and not knowing that 10 or 11 counties were going to or choosing to withdraw, I just felt it was we are at that point where I think we could adequately provide the service and request to withdraw ourselves.
Mr. Chair, if I could. Jackie, what counties are withdrawing? Are they from this area?
So,
or what- from a different
as of
region?
2021, Human Services, or St. Louis County Human Services is withdrawing. So that would be January 1st, they are officially done, as well as Morrison County. And so the St. Louis County, that was a third of our population within Merit as to why we've seen those costs go up. So I have those numbers here in front of me. Let me make sure I read them correctly. At one point, there was 3,000 employees and with Southwest and Morrison County. And I believe there was another county that was withdrawing that took 1,000 employees out of that pool. And they charge their costs, their operating budget, as a third of the budget is shared equally by each participating county. Remaining 2/3 of their budget is divided proportionately by the counties based on each county's share or their total number of merit-eligible employees. So that would just be in the human services. So when counties start to withdraw, the other county costs go up. And it's gonna be fairly significant for us. So in 2022, we were notified that Brown County, Chisago County, Douglas County, Grant County, Hubbard County, Kennebec County, Candy, Ojai, Mauer, Nobles, Pine, and Pope counties were withdrawing. So that is only gonna lead to one thing, that our costs are gonna go up, possibly significantly, and it's something that we feel we can do and do well within our county. So it would be a cost savings to us.
Mr. Chair, Jackie, if we send that letter in and decide during the year that we don't want to, at that point, can we change our mind again?
Yes.
We can.
Yes. That's something we talked about yesterday as well. But yes, that has happened historically, not often, but when they go through and they do an audit to
Yeah.
make sure that all the checks and balances are done before removing or withdrawing from Minnesota Merit, we could at that time say, yeah, we're not at a good point and we would like to withdraw a letter of intent.
Well, in some cases, I think it hindered our hiring process because it slowed it down, because we had to make sure they had gone through the merit system.
Yeah, we have to get the list
Yeah.
from Merit. It's also confusing for our applicants because they fill out an application for us and with Merit,
Yeah.
and the systems are identical. So they look at it and say, well, I already filled this out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Because I'm aware of a few situations where we wanted to hire, but we had to wait till they cleared the merit system before we could hire. So it was a kind of a hindrance. Maybe good at some times, but it's bad at other times. So I think that if we vote to get out, it's more helpful, but we can always vote to get back in. So.
Absolutely.
So I will entertain a motion from the board. Do you have a formal board action?
I do have a sample letter that came from Morrison County, who is withdrawing in 2021. And I can just read that to you real quick. Of course, it went away when
I don't think it matters. I think what we're,
It's just a
yeah,
request to
right.
withdraw from Minnesota Merit. And then, I apologize, Mr. Chair, but if we could also talk about or request who would be the authority to sign that letter, because it will go to the Commissioner of DHS.
Okay.
And then who would like to be that
Okay.
signing authority.
So if we, I'll entertain a motion either to withdraw or not withdraw. So commissioners, you can make that motion.
I'll make the motion to withdraw.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Kenizel to withdraw. And who would you like to sign the letter?
I don't care.
Okay, he doesn't care.
Counties have had their board chair or they've had their county coordinator. Some have done myself, but I will entertain any motion.
I'll make a motion that board chair signs it.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Erickson. Any more discussion? If not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right, we will get that letter drafted. Denise, we'll create a BIF for you to be able to add that to the agenda, and then get that up for signature and send that. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we're into administration. Chris? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Am I okay?
You are right on, thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chair, I have a board action and a resolution this morning for final payment authorization on the Arnson construction contract. This is the work that was done at the Expo building. The background is within the resolution, which includes the total amount of the work that was completed, the partial payments that were made, and the remaining funds that need to be paid out. So the options are to approve the attached resolution or do not approve the attached resolution. The recommendation is to approve the attached resolution. The financial implications are $145,013.66, and these funds will be coming from the Capital Improvement Fund and the CARES Act funds.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
Can I have some discussion
go ahead.
before we go do this? When Chris and I were out there and we did the walkthrough the last time, after they had the sinks installed, it is, what is it? It's 38 to 39 inches between the sink and the wall. And I question if that's legal, if it should not have been more distance. And doing some research on my own, I found that 38 to 39 inches is the recommendation, and that would be passed. The problem is in the men's bathroom, it's only 35 inches. So I'm willing to pay these and whatever, but I think we have to do a little bit more research and make sure that they are the handicapped accessibility. I know you asked our person who did the floor plans and whatnot, and I went and contacted some people. I got the 2010 ADA standards. Talking to other construction people, they felt it was at 38 to 39 inches. I just want to make sure that it's handicapped accessible, and if it's not, that they change it, or, you know, that it should be, that for sure that it is that handicapped accessibility between the sink and the wall going into the showers.
Mr. Chair, I have followed up with the architect and the contractor, and they did make the statement that it is ADA compliant. I will get a written documentation from them stating that, and we will review it again.
And to make sure that that men's at 35 is compliant.
I will follow up.
Okay. And Chris and I have had this discussion.
All right, is there any other discussion? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Erickson, is there a second?
Second.
Kenizel?
Yep.
Second by Commissioner Kenizel. Discussion? If not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I don't
Opposed?
oppose to it.
Carried.
I just want to make the comment, though, it's absolutely fantastic looking. It's beautiful out there, you know.
Now let's
as
take
far
care
as-
of it.
Yeah, as far as the construction part of it, it is very, very nice. It's just the handicap measurements that I'm concerned about.
And I've said this all along, once we invest money into something, let's take care of it. Let's not let it run down for 20 years and then say, uh-oh, we gotta do something, so.
Right.
All right, now we're into salaries, I guess. huh?
Yep. Mr. Chair, I have a series of board actions and resolutions this morning to establish salaries for elected officials. Minnesota statute requires that the board set the salaries for elected officials one time per year. Our county policy says that we set those in December. So I will start with the establishing of the 2021 county commissioner salaries. So I have a board action and a resolution in front of you to set the salaries for the county commissioners. You also have additional information that was included in the packet that included the comparison counties that we have used in the past to determine salaries. You've also been provided with the average salary for county commissioners and also what their per diems would be. So the recommendation for, or the request for the commissioner is at a 2.5% increase, which would be $32,738.50.
Okay. Is there a motion on, I guess you're presenting either a 2% or 2.5% for the commissioners? Is there a motion on any of them?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I will make a motion that we go with 2% for 2021, and that the board chair and vice chair stay the same as 2020. And I'd also like to make the comment that for the last 8-10 years, I've been preaching about putting this, making this decision in September when we do our preliminaries, so we don't have to wait till the last day of the year to sit down and figure this stuff out. I'll leave it at stuff.
I think Commissioner Newman, the difficult situation that we have had in the past is when we have union negotiations, it's difficult for us to set salaries before we have negotiated with the unions. And if it's in a non-negotiable year, I don't disagree with you. That's when we should do it early on. But if it's in a negotiable year with unions, that's when we have to play the tactics that we have to play to see what we can get settled with the union, so.
But every year, I
Yeah, I
read
agree.
in the Alec paper where Douglas County sets theirs in September with their preliminary, so they don't have to hash this stuff out
Yeah,
at the last
I don't
minute. And I
disagree
feel
with
like every time we do this, like I have a gun to my head going, you know, yeah.
okay.
Mr. Chair, if I could just add those amounts for the board chair and the vice chair, those amounts are $1,800 for the board chair and $1,200 for the vice chair, just so
Yes.
we're clear on that.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, there's a motion on the floor for 2% for the county commissioners. Is there a second?
I'll do the second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Any more discussion? If not, all's in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, the next board action that I have is to establish the 2021 county attorney salary. You have the supporting documentation that shows the comparison counties. We have the average salary for the county attorney, and the request from the county attorney is a 2.5% increase.
Okay, for the request, is there a motion? I should add, the county attorney had requested another position for his office during the budget process, and the finance committee did turn that down. So he did not get his, would it be his fourth attorney or third? Third attorney. So, just want to make sure the board is aware that he had requested another attorney, but the finance committee had denied that, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, he would have,
Excuse me,
he
it
would have
be the
had
fourth.
four then
Yep,
assistants. That's what I thought, but I
sorry about that.
wasn't sure. Okay.
So, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
my only comment I have to make is that we were promised by the county attorney that if we hired the last assistant county attorney, that he would attend our board meetings. I have not seen him at all. I don't believe he's attending any of your personnel meetings.
No.
So what are we really getting for representation from our county attorney?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion, 2%.
Commissioner Canazzo makes a motion for 2% for the county attorney. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Erickson. Any more discussion? If not, all's in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. County auditor treasurer, right?
So, Mr. Chair, the next board action is to establish the 2021 County Auditor Treasurer salary. You have the supporting documentation regarding the comparison counties and the average and the 95% of average. The Auditor Treasurer is requesting a 4% increase. The calculation is a little bit different than an exact 4%. The request is for $96,297.
If I may, Mr. Chair, the reason that doesn't come out to exact is because I used the 2.5% that the unions were awarded last year because we're a year behind in our salaries. So I just followed what the union got last year. And so then 2.5% COLA and a step for me because I'm not maxed out on the steps. If I were on what the unions follow, would have been that step, which makes that a funky amount. That's why that's the way that is. So it averages out to be the 2.5% COLA and a step.
Okay. Commissioners? Got 4 choices there.
I'll just speak from an opinion side of stuff, and I guess when I look at the current averages and stuff like that on there and see that we're at the 99% area on that, I guess I don't know that we should be that high and then still increasing, and I know too, you're kind of considering your step in there, but I think when you take on the job, you realize that you give that up in the position that you're in, you know, you go more so off from just that your pay scale is there. To me, it would be more fair to everybody within the system that we would try to follow along suit unless you were behind, which we've accommodated before, that it would be more applicable to try to be down with everybody else on the 2% rate.
And that's fine. I was following suit of the 2.5 and a step because of the years past where we elected officials continue to fall behind because we don't get that step. But I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Erickson. Yes.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, so,
I'll
sir,
give other people a chance to speak, otherwise I would have brought it as a motion. but-
Okay. I don't think anybody else wants to, Rod.
It's
So,
tough this year, it just is, you know, it's a tough year.
yeah. Next year's gonna be tougher.
I'm afraid of it.
Yeah,
So is there a motion?
I can bring that as a motion,
2%?
Mhm.
All right, Commissioner Erickson moves for 2%. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Kneisel. Discussion. If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. The next
County Recorder, I'm
The
sorry.
next board action that I have is to establish the 2021 county recorder salary. You have again, the comparison counties, you have the percent of average, and the request for the county recorder is a 5% increase at $72,645.
All right, you have 6 options here to pick from.
When you're, Mr. Chair, when you're talking about options there, are you looking at something I'm not able to look at, or what are you?
This page right here.
seeing?
I'm looking at
Oh,
this
I'm
one.
sorry.
Yeah.
You're on papers, that's why.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ranges from 2% to 5%, so it gives you
I got
the
you.
amounts. So-
Thank you.
I'll move a 2% salary increase.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newman for 2%. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion. I do feel we're a little below on this one. He's at 69,186, and the average is 74,000, so. All right, any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Aye. Okay, carried.
Mr. Chair, the next board action that I have is to establish the 2021 county sheriff's salary. I have a board action and a resolution. You have been provided with the comparison counties, the average salary, and where the sheriff currently is. The sheriff is requesting a 10% increase for 2021. This would be $103,598. Currently, the sheriff is at 84% of average.
Mr. Chair, just a question, if anybody could calculate or has that calculation, with that, where does that end up at in comparison to the, I suppose we don't know what the other increases are coming in, but where would it put him with this table, with the 10%?
Mr. Chair, with this table, it put him at about 93%, but that would be in the 2020, so everybody is moving.
Pending that
Yeah.
they're moving up also, it's a little
That's
hard
correct.
to understand that, that's why I asked that question, sorry. But it gives me a general idea anyways.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we move the sheriff up 8%, and just because, it's been one hell of a year. There's, so much going on in the sheriff's department. We appreciate the work everybody does. So I'll make that motion for an 8% increase.
All right, we have a motion for 8%. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Newman. Discussion? Not. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Mr. Chair, the last board action and resolution that I have is to set the 2021 non-union and appointed official salaries. The background is the Todd County Board of Commissioners desire to set salaries for appointed positions and employees not covered under a collective bargaining agreement. The wage recommendations on the attached resolution have been reviewed by Personnel Committee and have been budgeted for 2021. The options are to approve the resolution setting 2021 non-union and appointed official salaries or not approve, and the recommendation is to approve. The resolution specifically states a 2% general increase effective the first pay period worked in January of 2021 with the specific pay date of January 27, 2021, and a 3% step increase effective the first full pay period worked in July of 2021 and pay date July 28, 2021 for eligible staff. Staff currently over the maximum of the salary grid shall receive a 1% or 1/2 general increase effective the first full pay period worked in January of 2021, pay date January 27, 2021, in accordance with county policy. And I'm sorry, Commissioners, you probably did not see that last piece. I did make a correction to the,
Where are you reading?
I did make a correction to that. Sorry about that. Just to match the county policy.
Okay. All right, you've heard the board action. Is there a motion?
I'll move a 2% increase.
Motion by Commissioner Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kneisel. Discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
The last item has been taken off the agenda. And is there any standing reports?
I just wanted to make note that the township filings open today, and they close in 2 weeks on January 12th for the March elections, and we have 21 of the 28 townships that do have March elections. So this is the filing period for a township officer position.
I could give a little report on the insurance. MIC, you had their meeting yesterday. I don't know if any of you seen that.
I did see you at a meeting, yes.
Yeah, so we'll have insurance. It's gonna cost us more money, so. We'll see.
That was a question whether we would have insurance
That
or
was a
not.
question whether we was gonna have insurance, but we will have insurance. It's gonna cost us. Well, I think, I don't know, should have asked Chris when he's here, but I think it's like 30,000 more than what we even budgeted for, which is a lot, so.
Chris is here.
Chris? You wanna give a little update on that MCIT meeting, or?
Certainly. Gary hit it right on. I was not paying attention, but I heard the word insurance. So I just sent out an email yesterday. We just had there was a special board meeting for the MCIT board yesterday, and they shared that they have received an official proposal for insurance, and it's a 2% raise from what was last year. But the thing is, last year, they covered 80% of our premium because there was a 500% increase. So now in 2021, we will actually pay for that increase. And like I think I heard Gary just say, if we just took that and ran, our budget for the Prairie Lakes would be $50,000 off, which $50,000 is a lot of money, but at the same token, I don't think we're in a situation where we're gonna go do anything extreme. The other part of the conversation, though, is that this is continuing to be difficult, and as was expressed at the board meeting by Prairie Lakes board members and members of the other waste-to-energy facilities, is an interest in some alternative insurance programs. And MCIT hired a risk management consultant who does not yet have a quote, but they have an indication. They found a carrier that's indication so far is that they expect to be 25% lower. On a $500,000, 25% is a big difference. So we're looking at $80,000 of savings. That brings us back into budget. So there's still some moving parts, but in my, call me an optimist, but in my own words, we found out a lot of good things yesterday, because at this time last year, MCIT did not have insurance for us. And currently on the table, we have one official proposal, and we have another company so interested that they've already given us a preliminary number, 25% lower than the proposal we've received. One more thing, if I could just add, the lower proposal has a higher deductible. And, that's just like health insurance, those two go together. So they're looking at about $100,000 a year less premium, but they're looking at a $100,000 deductible.
We
One
have
of
a
the,
$1,000 one now, don't we?
I'm
It's
sorry.
$1,000 deductible with MS.
That's correct. So one of the things that I've already asked MCIT for is to give us their history of our claims, which I should probably know, but, I've been there for 3 years, and I'll be honest with you, I don't remember submitting a claim myself.
I was just gonna ask you that, what has been our claims? And
Right.
I would absolutely agree with you, 0.
Yeah, so I want them to tell me that, so it's not my memory. But they have already told us that we are very good, MCIT has already told us, we are very good customers.
Well, you're making money off
We're,
it.
they're, yeah. For an inter-county trust, we're moneymakers for them,
And then why did they wanna dump us?
Well, it's not them, but it's their reinsurers.
Or they're
And
underinsured, so.
What everyone has told us is this is a market issue. Insurance
Yep.
is driven by market and actuaries. And, I'm not a marketer or an actuary, so I can't give you a good answer to that.
Well, it's a little scary when you discover you're not gonna have insurance.
Yeah,
And you're a big, you're a multi-million-dollar operation, so
Yep.
you gotta have insurance. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So it gets a little scary when your current carrier says, well, I don't think we're gonna cover you anymore, so. Then you gotta scramble, so.
we've been scrambling for 12 months.
I know you have, so. But sounds like we got it worked out, huh? Good.
For a year anyway,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks, Chris.
thank you.
Anything else, commissioners? If not, we will adjourn for the year. Happy New Year,
Happy New Year.
and hopefully 2021 will be a better year. Yeah. Up the bars and have a drink pretty soon, huh?